Here we go. Great. I think we have everybody. So let's go ahead and get started. Good morning, Ms. Gold-William.
How are you?
Hi, Sharon. Welcome. So thank you all for joining Environment Texas Research and Policy Center for today's telepresser for the release of Shining Cities 2020, the top U.S. cities for solar. This is the 7th year of the report, which is, we think, the most comprehensive survey available of installed solar capacity in major U.S. cities. My name is Luke Metzger, and I'm the Director of Environment Texas. I'm going to start by quickly walking through the benefits of solar energy, review the rankings in our report, and then I'll turn it over to Mayor Nirenberg to present him with a little award. Then we'll hear from Paula Gold-Williams of CPS Energy and Sharon Harder of Freedom Solar. We'll then take questions if any reporters want to ask in the chat function. I'll unmute you so you can ask any questions. So let me just start my slide real quick. Okay, so first let's talk about why solar. So solar, first and foremost, is pollution-free. It's also virtually limitless, and with no actual fuel cost, it's getting more and more affordable. Enough sunlight hits the United States every year to power our electricity needs more than 100 times. Solar is also widely popular. It regularly polls as the most popular energy source with 80 to 90% approval, and enjoys support across party lines and with folks who wouldn't necessarily consider themselves to be environmentalists. Solar is also tangible and transformative. People can see it in their neighborhoods, on their kids' school, and at their favorite local businesses. And when people install solar on their own homes, like I did, that's a picture of me staying out my window, they really transform the way they experience energy by generating it themselves and understanding how it impacts their electric bill. And then finally, solar offers community benefits at the local level. Solar can help lower electricity costs for residents, businesses, and government. It can help make cities more resilient against natural disasters, and it can strengthen our electric grid. So now let's dive into the report's findings. So this report ranks top American cities based on how much solar PV capacity they have total and how much total they have per capita. To make this report, we surveyed 70 of the largest cities in the United States. We also collected data from 6 Texas utilities for solar capacity in 200 Texas towns. So you can see here that this is the top 20 cities for total solar capacity within city limits. And you can see that San Antonio ranks 5th in the nation, hooray, moving up 2 places from 7th place last year. So this is, we've done this report for 7 years, and this is the highest ranking San Antonio has ever achieved, which is really impressive. You can also see here the top 10 Texas towns, and San Antonio comes in 1st place in the state. Solar capacity also increased 36% within San Antonio last year. Again, a very impressive rate of growth. This year, in our report, for the first time, we also examined municipally owned utilities like CPS Energy to identify both the total solar PV capacity inside the utility service territory, as well as capacity the utility may own or have a long-term contract with located outside their service territory. And when you add those to the total, you can see that CPS Energy ranks 2nd in the nation for total solar per capita owned, or sorry, for total solar owned or contracted by a municipally owned utility, but by providing more than 765 megawatts of solar. Again, very impressive achievement. So again, San Antonio coming in 2nd for total capacity, just behind Los Angeles. And this didn't happen by chance. San Antonio and CPS Energy drove solar development through effective public policy, programs, and investments. CPS has a robust rebate program that has invested more than $134 million to help home and business owners install solar. So San Antonio makes installing solar panels easy and hassle-free and provides attractive options for solar financing. CPS offers a community solar program where customers can purchase electricity from larger solar installations on carports and the Solar Host leasing program. These policies have made a big difference in making San Antonio an inviting place to expand solar. But of course, there's more to be done. San Antonio still has only tapped a fraction of the solar potential in the city. CPS Energy is currently reviewing its 2030 goals for energy efficiency, energy reduction, and solar programs with input from the mayor and the city council. And setting ambitious 2030 goals for local solar is going to be important to maintaining leadership on local solar production. I'll close by noting that the sun is as dependable and reliable an energy source as anything we could hope to have. And even with all of today's uncertainties, the sun is still shining. And using that sunlight to make clean, renewable energy is something San Antonio has learned to do very well. And I'm confident that the future of solar in San Antonio is very bright. So without further ado, I am also pleased to present to San Antonio Mayor Nirenberg our Shining Cities 2020 Award for Outstanding Leadership in Solar Energy. Congratulations, Mayor. And also, we have a photo of you from touring the Kitco Solar or Kitco facility a few years back. So thank you so much for joining us today, and I'll turn it over to Mayor Nirenberg to say a few words.
Good morning. Thank you, Luke, and thank you all for joining us. And I remember that photo like it was yesterday. What a great day of discovery that was for me particularly, but also for our entire community. We are grateful to be recognized by Energy Texas for the important work that we're doing here in San Antonio with regard to solar. Our progress on the solar energy front comes with great pride because it's been a long and fought over effort. And certainly this is great news following last year's passage of our Climate Action Adaptation Plan. As you pointed out, Luke, we are very proud to be now number 5 in America for total solar within the city limits. And I hope people make note of that. It happened without a lot of attention, I think, for a lot of residents. And it's certainly impressive. CPS Energy, I want to point out, as I am a proud board member, is second place among municipal utilities nationwide for total solar energy. That also is worth underscoring. 765 megawatts of capacity in solar for CPS Energy. Solar has, in fact, increased over the last year, as you noted, by 36%, almost 200 megawatts worth. And San Antonio has the potential to accommodate even more. And I believe based on the figures, it's roughly 6,200 megawatts of solar capacity on our rooftops alone if we had full adoption. And it goes without saying, and I think folks on this call know that solar benefits us in so many ways with regard to our climate goals, reducing local air pollution, strengthening our grid, stabilizing energy costs, and so on and so forth. And despite the crisis that we're in, the momentum has continued. I just want to note a couple of things. From 2018 to 2019, we saw a 21% increase in residential rebate value to their households, the value to their families, and the adoption of solar. It was also up this year before the crisis began by 23% in just the first quarter. And as of April 30th, we also saw commercial activity increase. We had a total of 20 projects this year compared to 27 in the entire year prior. We also saw residential contracts increase and residential solar contractors submitting projects for commencement. So all of this is good news. It is certainly gratifying to be recognized by Energy Texas And please know, as mayor of San Antonio, I will remain committed, along with my colleagues, to pushing renewable, sustainable energy forward. And I'm glad to have a great partner in Paula Gold-Williams over at CPS Energy. Thank you very much, Luke.
Thank you, Mayor. Paula?
Well, Mayor, it's always great to partner with you, and I love the fact that you did some of the stat stuff. So I'm not gonna mess with the stat stuff. I'm gonna keep it light. Our mayor and his vision for San Antonio, the focus on us focusing on new energy and renewables, is very much a part of the way that we think about how we ultimately need to transition. And the thing that I didn't start overnight. I mean, we started in wind decades ago, and we meaningfully went and did a huge global RFP for 400 megawatts at the time. And working with the city, we thought about what would be good for San Antonio, and we were able to combine economic development, which is also a passion of our mayor, along with the ability to bring in new technology and a major focus on solar. That said, we have this huge program on energy efficiency and conservation. It was award-winning. We were able to win a major national award last year from the Alliance to Save Energy for our program. Our target was to save 771 megawatts. We actually achieved 845 megawatts a year, or more than a year early. And a major component of that program is solar. So it is definitely a part of what's attractive to our customers. It's a part of what's right in terms of evolving our portfolio to cleaner technologies. And the great benefit of it is as solar gets more and more efficient, it becomes a better driver of value inside of all of our programs. We continue to think about the new opportunities we have to launch solar. And while utility scale we are a big, the biggest electric and gas municipal energy provider in the nation, but we continue to think about where can we go from here? And we see that distributed energy is really important. And as the mayor says, there's a ton of opportunity with rooftop. And so while we want to do a lot of large scale, because we are able to optimize and reach economies of scale for solar, we definitely feel like there's a huge component of value with distributed solar. A lot of different people can participate, or they can participate in any of our other creative programs. And we're getting into microgridding. We partnered with Southwest Research Institute, which is an applied research scientific organization based in San Antonio, and we are there implementing the combination of energy storage and solar in a very creative way, being able to test and optimize, and again, ensure that solar is responding to the needs that the community has, and that we can objectively and scientifically deploy that technology more efficiently in the future. So we're absolutely honored to be recognized for our continued investment. And Luke, I want to thank you for being able to get our mayor on this event and inviting me to actually be able to say how proud our company is of doing this. And maybe the last thing I want to mention is we're not done. As the mayor says, he continually challenges us to think about the new and creative things that we can do. We do small programs, big programs. But I want to highlight one thing that the mayor has been very interested in, and we are queuing up. But COVID has kind of challenged us. But we're coming with a huge RFP, and it is we named it the Flex Power Bundle. And what we are doing is we are anchoring with a huge component of solar of 900 megawatts. We're going to do a global RFP. The mayor is going to help us splash and promote that as soon as we can, again, get the ability to actually figure out how to do those types of evaluations with companies from around the globe, because this is a global game changer. And we want to couple that with firming capacity and try to make sure that we have a really great way to start, again, continuing to evolve our portfolio on a large basis. More information is coming out of that, and we are going to compartmentalize some element of distributed energy on the solar side along with our utility scale. So super exciting, staying committed. We feel like, as the mayor said, that we're going to come out of this thing, and there's going to continue to be a lot of interest in solar as a really strong part of evolving our portfolio. But I'm gonna raise this again. I want to thank you all, CPS Energy. There's 3,100 employees doing all they can to offer new solutions and be very effective for delivery and promotion of solar. So CPS Energy is very thankful for being recognized today.
Great, thanks, Paula. Sharon?
Yes, thank you for inviting me to participate here. I just want to congrats. And as the longest serving residential and commercial solar installer in Texas, we can attest to the partnership that with San Antonio and with CPS that makes that possible. You've been great partners for us and for all the, to represent all the solar installers in the industry as a whole. I think shining star is an appropriate term. And your leadership, not just now, but throughout the last decades has been meaningful in helping solar grow in San Antonio. And we continue to see, just to kind of reiterate, the interest that we're seeing. It was a very big kind of record-breaking year for us last year in terms of the solar interest and solar installed in San Antonio, especially on the residential side. And certainly distributed rooftop solar, it has been growing by leaps and bounds, and it has not slowed down in 2020. Even as the federal tax credit starts to step down, there's definitely continued interest. Even in a COVID-19 world, people recognize the sense of self-sufficiency that you can get from controlling some of your how you make your power. And we just wanted to reiterate again that San Antonio remains kind of a bastion in Texas and nationally for solar, and we're proud to be a part of it. Congratulations, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sharon. So I'll wrap up by saying that, we don't always agree with CPS Energy. We disagree, for example, on some coal plant issues, and we'll continue to, engage on those issues. But today, we want to give credit where credit is due. And it's clear, from the data in our report that San Antonio is a shining city, a leader in solar energy, #5 in America, and that deserves a lot of congratulations. And so we really appreciate the work the city and the utility have done to promote solar, to help folks of all types to be able to go solar, whether it's putting it on their own rooftop or leasing it, or contributing to a community solar program. All of these are very beneficial. So now we'll go ahead and take questions from the audience, from the media. So I'm going to go ahead and read the first question from Iris of the Rivard Report. And she says, is San Antonio's jump in the rankings due to that 36% increase in our solar capacity, or perhaps the result of other cities not doing as much, slowing down production? So I can start that first question, and then there's another question for Paula. We found nationally that solar grew about 23%. And so certainly solar all around the country grew. We certainly didn't see a slowdown in the survey that we saw, but we just saw San Antonio really doubling down. 36% growth, 1 year is, especially after many years of doing it and exhausting some of the lower hanging fruits. 36% growth in 1 year is very impressive. So I think it's really a testament to San Antonio's work. And then Paula, she asks, could you elaborate on where CPS Energy is in terms of setting its 2030 goals? What are some other elements of the Flex Power Bundle energy storage? Will that tie into CPS Energy?
I think we're in And what we've done strategically is create the flexible path, which says we have to continue to explore and look for our avenues. So right now we're in the formative stages. We want to get through the Flex Power Bundle RFP. We think that when that goes out there, we will not only get a lot of creativity and substance around solar, but we think that we will get a lot of creativity around new innovation. The key to the transition to a different portfolio that we currently have is the firming capacity component, and there are some new, very interesting technologies. Before we set the goal, we want to see more of what's current will help us shape that target in the future and really start to attract more investment into San Antonio. The other large objective we have is to create more pilots of new technologies and new energy solutions. We want San Antonio to be known as this great pilot city where companies can come from around the globe. And we think the more that we can attract the origination and continual investment by companies, again, from around the globe, the more likely we will be able to set more aggressive goals for the 2030 perspective. But here we are in 2020. And so we think that 2020 will be spent doing the exploration and hopefully the great award on the Flex Power Bundle. And it will help us build what we've done with the new energy economy that was built early in the 2011 timeframe. We attracted companies from Europe and Canada and different parts of the US. The winning company was from South Korea. Getting all of those companies in the US and in the nation, again, to bring their solutions and help us microgrid and do those kind of things. We need that kind of input before we can set a really great goal. But the more we get, we think the better goal we'll set. And I think it'll take us more than a year to do that.
Great, thanks, Paula. Question from Jessica Corso from the San Antonio Business Journal. Do you anticipate that revenue decreases this year for both the city and CPS means less money to put into the solar rebate program next year?
No, I don't currently, but it's hard to tell. I mean, COVID has, I think, it's going to have a direct impact, and then it's going to have a kind of a trailing impact. Right now, I think we're in good shape because we continue to have very affordable bills in San Antonio. We have a very diversified portfolio of energy solutions. And what happens is most of the solar comes through in our STEP program and in our fuel component. And the STEP program, bridge program, was already approved by the board and the council. So we have the funding of what we need, and we continue to have a lot of interest. We hope by the end of the year, we'll be setting out a very big continuation of that program, of which solar is included. So right now, I think because of the general interest that the public has, I think that component of what we will do will be good in spite of some of the other challenges that we have with our fixed costs.
And then, and you may have already answered this, but she asks also when the RFP will be released for the Flex Power Bundle.
We had hoped that we would have already had it released, but right now, I would say that I think we'll be lucky if we can get in late summer. Again, it will depend about our ability to have people respond to that RFP. Again, the more that we can get global attention, the better we will be. So we're monitoring the landscape on a global basis, and we're hoping that people will find we'll be using technology like this, and we'll be doing different things. But the issue is a firming capacity for new technology. Being able to explore that with COVID at a global basis will be a little bit difficult. So all that said, we do think that we can do the distributed side of the Flex Power Bundle probably around the late summer time frame. The bigger RFP might take a little bit more time.
Great, thank you. Are there any other questions? Just you can put them in the chat box, or if you'd like to say it aloud. Oh, Iris says 1 second. Okay, we'll just wait a little bit in case Iris has a second question. Okay, She says, you mentioned 900 megawatts of solar as part of that bundle. Can you share other elements that might be part of that?
Yeah, our design, but we will have flexibility for it. It was a general design was to have a battery storage designated for a minimum of about 50 megawatts, if I remember correctly. And but that again, that can change depending on how attractive that part of the bid is. We're going to keep our flexibility. And then what we have is about 300 to 500 megawatts, depending of what we call firming capacity. And what we're looking for, we are looking for new technologies. Gas is the technology to beat in terms of value proposition, reliability, those types of things. But we really believe that we're starting to get companies, or we were before COVID, knocking on our door and telling us that they have some things that we think can rival gas. So we think that could be a lot of different opportunities there, but that's the general structure. Mostly solar, some battery storage, and then some creative element of firming capacity.
Great. Any last questions? Just wait a second. And if not, then I'll just go ahead and, oh, yeah, I think that's all from Iris. So yeah, so again, thank you, Mayor, thank you, Paula, thank you, Sharon, for joining us for this event today. Again, congratulations on your success, and look forward to working with you, in the coming year as the Flex Step program is further developed, and hope to see some good things to come again in this next year. So thank you all, and hopefully next year we can report another rank increase, maybe fourth or third. And
Hope so.
First before no long. Okay, thank you so much, and have a good day.
Thanks, Luke. More to come. Thanks, Paul. Bye, Shane.
Bye, Sharon. Thank you.
Bye, thank you.